People often talk about the Bible heroes. Not too many of them were heroes in a pretty direct way, I have to say that. They were mostly weak people, broken people, normal people who God used in their circumstances to achieve His will and accomplish His purposes in the world. You think about Moses, then you go on into Gideon in the Judges. When the angel appears to him and says, "Behold, man of valor," I think he started looking around the room. "Who are you talking to? There's nobody else here. Are you talking to me?" He says, "My clan is the smallest clan in my tribe. My tribe's the weakest tribe in Israel, and I'm the smallest and weakest person in my family." And I think God said, "Yes, exactly. I'll be with you. It's not about you, it's about me." So when Gideon wins a battle, people say, "Well, that can't be Gideon, that must be God," because we know Gideon, he's from that small family, and he's the small guy in his family. Ruth, who would think a foreign widow of another widow from Bethlehem would be of any value to any culture? She was a liability to Naomi, and yet she became in the heritage of David and of Christ. A normal life lived out in faithfulness, with all its brokenness, is a cherished thing in God's eyes. Just continue to go all the way through the Old Testament. David, Jesse didn't even think about David when Samuel came to anoint the next king. He trots out his good-looking sons, and Samuel says, "Not that one, not that one, not that one. Any others?" And he says, "Well, yeah, there is David. He's out taking care of the sheep." If you couldn't do anything else, you took care of sheep in the old days. He becomes the one that God anoints and uses, least expected. One of my favorite stories in the scriptures is 2 Samuel 9, where David seeks to show mercy to the household of Jonathan. The only survivor is this man named Mephibosheth, who is lame in both feet. And when he comes before David, it's one of the most tragic and sad statements in all the Bible. Mephibosheth says to David, "Who am I that you would notice a dead dog like me?" I mean, imagine that. He counted himself no more value than a dead dog. And yet David brought him to his table. He ate at the king's table. It says it 3 times at the end of that passage. He always ate at the king's table. And the last line says, "And he was lame in both feet." He wasn't fixed, but he was still elevated. It continues on to the apostles. If you want to start a major movement, you don't use a bunch of illiterate fishermen from Galilee and rebels and tax collectors. I mean, he got a collection of some of the least respected, most quickly ostracized people in the first century. And that's how God started his movement. We see it in the book of Acts when Peter speaks before the Sanhedrin. It says they took note of the fact that these were normal Galileans who had spent time with Jesus. God's in the business of doing unusual and abnormal things with very normal and even broken people. And so in that way, I think the Bible is really continues to be a textbook for us of great hope that whatever our lives are, in whatever small or mundane or unknown little place we are, in whatever brokenness we have, God can still work through you and use you and show His glory through your weakness. It's an amazing thing.